Hey all, hey live stream, this is Raj here. I'm just going to check and see those who are online and then get started again. Let me do a quick system check before we go ahead. I'm going to wait for a few more people to join and then we'll take it from there. Okay. So I want to start off with some of the news that has happened recently that are relevant to us. I'd like to start off first with Untitled Therapeutics, which dropped today after reporting quarterly loss of, I think, let me get this right. Was it Untitled Therapeutics? Let me check my notes here. 1 second. Yeah, it was Untitled Therapeutics. It dropped today after reporting a quarterly loss of around $1.33 per share as against an expected loss of $1.31. And when you compare that to the previous year, same quarter, that is Q2 2021, then it was at that time $1.01 loss. So we have more loss than before. But I don't think with companies like Intelia and all genomic companies, we should have a linear progression of loss. There would be extraordinary expenses when you're progressing some pipeline items. So I don't think this is a trend that we can observe. But suffice to say, most of the genomic startups are going to keep on pumping in money into research until they get an FDA approval, and only after that can we start seeing some positive numbers. But however, whichever way you look at it in terms of actuals versus expectations or compared to same period last year, both comparisons seem unfavorable. Revenue did exceed expectations significantly. The expectation was 9.41 million and it came in at 14.03 million. But as I mentioned earlier in my video for Q2 earnings, it's very difficult to estimate earnings of these companies, revenues of these companies, because you have collaboration revenue coming in and you have their commitments to spend based on partnership. So there are a lot of moving parts out there, but still 14.03 million revenue is better than 9.41, especially in these challenging circumstances. So overall, that's still a positive, but the stock did suffer in the market today. There are a few other things also I want to talk about. One is about Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs has announced that its credit card business is being investigated by the CFPB, that is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, over a range of billing and payment practices for its credit card. The bank disclosed the probe in a quarterly filing on Thursday, saying that regulators are examining its account management practices, including the application of refunds, crediting of non-conforming payments, billing error resolution, advertisement, and reporting to credit bureaus. In other words, everything about the operation of the credit card business. And it is to be noted that the bulk of Goldman's credit card business is Apple branded. Therefore, I think there would be a reflection on Apple's share price as the market begins to realize this. So we have to watch this space and see what happens. I believe the total volume of business that is handled in credit card is $11.8 billion. So it's not chump change. It's a big amount. And let us see how Apple does. Apple has got a premium name, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to make sure that their reputation and share price are guarded. But it'll be interesting to see how the market reacts. So that's what I have about Goldman Sachs and Apple. I just want to quickly look at our channel and see how many viewers are there and who's arrived right now. There's someone has joined us. Yeah. So yeah, let me continue with my other news items that I want to talk to you about. One of the things, of course, this is not a news item, but we know of late that President Biden is talking about student loan forgiveness or delay and all those things. That brings me back to my younger days. Back in India in those days, I'm talking about more than 30 years ago. Parents used to take care of all the expenses for children's studies right up to masters or PhD, whatever they want to do. and then they will release them into the workforce to do whatever they like. And my expenses for education, I did a BCom and an MBA. Both of that was paid by my parents, and I didn't come out with any student loan. So when I started working, it was very easy for me to start building assets and all. But that's not true for most people in the West, like whether it is UK or whether it is US. The student loans are very high, and that kind of takes away the growth prospects for the students when they get into a career. And I think that also puts a lot of stress on young employees because they are more tethered to the job, because they need to continue paying their student loan and get it out of the way before they can start thinking about getting married, buying a house, starting a family, all those things, or even for that matter, starting a practice or a business. So it's very important that this particular problem be solved and remove the anchor that is tied onto the feet of all these young students who are coming out of college, because that brings us to the next question: is college education worth it? Because there are a lot of billionaires who have dropped out of college, started businesses, and they are doing very well. There has to be some value for college education. I'm not looking down upon something like photography or philosophy or English literature or something like that. But overall, all said and done, when there is a college education where you end up with maybe $200,000 or $300,000 worth of loans, then that college education better pay a good salary when you get a job, so that it can be easily paid off and you can continue with your life. And that's the bare minimum that we should be looking for. And probably one of the reasons why college education has become so expensive is because progressively the governments have been taking away money from the universities, and so universities have been depending on foreign students who are willing to pay. And typically foreign students who are coming in are coming from affluent families in other countries, and after they do the education out here, they get plum jobs. And that's why you see top CEOs in most of the tech companies and other big business, they're all foreigners. Because they're able to pay that kind of money, the average American or the average British person is finding it difficult to get a foothold either in the property ladder or in getting started with their personal life, because the student loan is something that is always pulling them down. At least that's my opinion. If you have any ideas, please put your opinions in the comments below. I'd like to hear what it looks like from your perspective. And with that said, I think the US dollar index should definitely start going down now, because the Bank of England has formally increased its interest rate by around 50 basis points. And now the Central Bank of England rate of interest stands at 1.75 basis points. The bank now forecasts the headline inflation to peak at around 13.3% in October, and to remain elevated throughout much of 2023 before falling to its 2% target in 2025. So that's a long haul. I don't know how that's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. The UK will most likely enter into recession from the fourth quarter of 2022, and that recession, according to authorities, will last for at least 5 quarters. So that will take the entire of 2023, and so probably in 2024 UK may be able to look out of recession. But I don't know how the Brexit issues and other things are going to figure into it, because everything had been masked by the COVID pandemic, and we don't know the real situation out there. So everything will become clear as time goes by. Time is the only thing that that gives us any indication of what actually is going to happen. We can just speculate, apply economic theories, and do some technical analysis, but what has to happen will happen, and that will be shown at a later date. So let me quickly look at our audience out here and see who is out here. Yeah, we have somebody out here. And hi, Inf, how are you doing? Hi, Venkata, how are you? So yeah, I didn't see you guys in here before. I was going through my news items. Well, I'm a millennial who has lived in the student debt life and know a lot of folks still living in student debt life. I have some thoughts, although controversial. What are your thoughts, Inf? What are your thoughts? Let me have your thoughts. I was fortunate enough for my parents to pay for all my education. And you know, My MBA cost me around 5,000 rupees per semester. That is around 25,000 in university. It was in University of Pune, next to Bombay. And it was a decent university. And yeah, that's all it cost for the tuition fee. And maybe another 10,000 a year for 15,000 rupees a year for my living expenses. It was a 2-year full-time course. So put that 30,000 plus 50,000 rupees. If you convert that into Canadian dollars, it's chump change. Yeah, yeah, that's how it was. But here also, parents are trying their best to give their children a leg up. Many parents put in. I can see many parents putting in money to help their children buy their first home. So it's pretty sweet out there. Yeah. Yeah, Indian education is quite affordable, and one of the reasons being that India doesn't cater to foreign students as much as US universities and Canadian universities do. I mean, most of our universities here have got rich foreign kids coming in here. They're driving a BMW, living in a condo. There was this case of a student who was living in a luxury condo with 3 sports cars, luxury cars. He was kidnapped, and then they let him go and all that. I know it's very strange. But you have really, really rich students coming in here, and I think University of Toronto charges $40,000 per semester, if I'm not mistaken, for an MBA program. So that's very expensive. Yeah, India education is also pretty good. I mean, many doctors in India are doing pretty good. And in fact, yeah, so Venkata is back again. Yeah, so we are waiting for the market to open. But while we are on this talk about India and how the things work out there, take the instance of medicine, right? Out here in Canada, we have good medical system in terms of all the infrastructure and everything. But specialist access becomes difficult. Like if you have a kidney issue or a heart issue or a lung issue or something special, you have to wait for 2 or 3 months to get the specialist. Whereas in India, you just go, you pay to the specialist and you get things done. And the diagnosis is also pretty fast and more accurate because they understand the Indian physiology much better than other doctors in the West. So things get better. I mean, whenever I make a trip to India, I just go to the medical college there. There's a place called Gujarat in India where there's a medical college. I go there and they do a total exam and they give me a clean chit, and I'm happy when I come back. So that's what I do when I go there. Yeah, and there's a lot of foreign tourism also for medicines in India. There's a big hospital called Apollo Hospital, which is a commercial hospital. And then we have got a lot of premium hospitals in India where people from abroad come. Like when I was a project manager, I was doing a project in India and I had Irish clients. So when they came there, they got all their dental work done because they thought it was very inexpensive. So that's what happens. So coming back to the college education thing, like if Biden was to give a student loan forgiveness, then it's going to spur inflation at this point of time. So it's better for him to suspend the student loan payment for the time being, and once the recession is over, when the market is on the clear, then he can forgive and things can go better. That's my opinion as an investor. Yeah, that's one of the problems with India, the gender divide. It's improving a lot because I see a lot of young Indian women whom I help out when they come here as immigrants. They are pretty bright and smart, and they don't take nonsense anymore. And many of them are professionals, like they would be chartered accountants or IT professionals, and they are pushing the boundaries. And the Indian society is getting equalized slowly. Everything is getting better. It's a patriarchal society, but there's a lot of changes taking place. Every time I make a visit, I haven't been there for 3 years now. Earlier, I used to visit every year. Most of my family has moved out, so I have less occasion to go to India. But whenever I have been there, I've seen quantum improvements. They are really struggling to catch up and come back into the standards for 21st century in terms of aesthetics, in terms of cleanliness, in terms of gender equality and all those things. And They have female president, the second female president right now. They already had female prime minister. So it's all good, man. I used to visit Mumbai, and I used to visit Gujarat, and I used to visit Goa. Goa for vacation. I love the place. It's amazing. The beaches are amazing. They have got these shacks in the beach which sell beer and other things, and also they cook food for you. Of course, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat seafood, but they have nice spicy food with kingfisher bear, and I'm looking at the ocean. It's amazing. And in Goa, you can hire two-wheeler bikes and just go all over the place and enjoy yourself. So it's amazing. Goa is amazing. So Goa, Gujarat, I like to go there because it's one of the best places in India, I would say, in terms of the food culture, hospitality, everything. It's amazing out there. So I like those two places. Yeah. So that's about it. Now coming back to the markets right now, right? I think the Coinbase news that you gave me, that was really something else. I checked out the news later on, and I found that the partnership with BlackRock is going to bring institutional investors into it. And when you get institutional investors coming in, there is going to be big money coming in, and also there's going to be a lot of reliability built into the system. I think BlackRock will ensure that they have all the necessary controls to make that happen. So it's all going to be good. Yeah, the Coinbase is looking good. Unfortunately, I bought Coinbase in 3 digits, so it's got a long way to go before I can make any profits, but I'm definitely happy. I'm not complaining. It's reducing my losses. And today I did an intraday trade. I sold Microsoft at the peak today and bought it back again when it went down. So that was a good thing for me. I regret having sold SQZ Biotech at 3.10 because it's going back up again. But I'm still worried about the QQQ. We are hitting the diagonal line of resistance. We'll see that when we do our end of day analysis. I'm keeping my fingers crossed because our RSI is very close to overbought when it comes to QQQ. I just hope that we don't bounce back from there, because if we did, it's going to be a sharp fall, and I'm worried about that. So I decided to sell off SQZ because it was more risk. Keeping the money aside, I had bought Berkshire on the Canadian side, and it's still profitable. I'm looking to keep it long term. So those are some of the trades that I did recently. Next bull run in 2024. Yeah, I hope so for Bitcoin. One of the problems I anticipate in Bitcoin is that when mining revenue is not there, there's going to be a little bit of loss of momentum in Bitcoin. That is my fear, and that could cause some problems there. That will be the ultimate hiccup. After that, how will we bring excitement into Bitcoin when there is no more mining? There has to be something out there, and what is that X factor? That's what I'm looking for, and I can't find any at this point of time. So I'm still holding on to my Bitcoin because it's negative right now, but it's slowly improving. I'm in the 32,000 range in my average price. So it's got a long way to go before it reaches there. Class A, but it's on the Canadian side. It's called BRK. It's on the Canadian side. So yeah, I like the conglomerate, and I like putting a little bit of my portfolio with a bit of stability, so that it will be good. Yeah, and yeah. And what is happening with Venkata? Where are you located, Venkata, and what do you have in your holdings? Let me see who else is there out here. Inf. I think Venkata left in between. Okay, he must be doing multitasking. I'm thinking, Inf, that we should start this session somewhere around 3:45 instead of 3:30. That way, we just have 15 or 10 minutes before the market close, because it doesn't take me too much time to talk my points that I wanted to discuss, and then we can shoot the breeze a little bit, and then go into the after hours trade. What do you think? Does that work for your schedule? Because you always do give me company, so you're my main audience. I would like to check that out with you. Okay, thanks, my man. Thanks a lot. Next week we'll have Jesse also joining us up. It takes some time for these sessions to get into the mainstream with our audience. Till such time, I guess we'll have to somehow pull on and make this happen. I'm giving myself another month or so, and I'll see if we have enough audience, then we'll continue with this, or else we'll try some different format. Because ours is a young channel and we are just now growing this. We have around 600 subscribers. So we should be getting more of them viewing our videos, more of them joining us in our live streams. So the answer could be either we are not doing our programming in the right time slots, or it could be that we are not giving the right quality or right type of content. We have to improve the content. Some of those things may be at play. So we'll have to work on all those parameters, I suppose, before we get a good uptake. Yes, thanks a lot. Thanks for giving me company, and thanks for supporting our channel a lot. This really matters a lot. And why don't we go in and start having a look at the indices, because we just got 9 minutes. So let me do that. Let me quickly arrange the screen and let me take you there. First, I have to shrink. There I go. I'm out there. Now, next, I have to bring the thing up. And let me go. See, this is the Berkshire I was talking about in. This is where we have Berkshire. And it's gone down minus 0.61 today. It's like whenever you enter a lane of traffic, that lane seems to be going slow. The blue chip, what can I say? Let us go and look at our indices. Let's start with the futures. The futures are looking still mildly positive, so I'm thinking that our market is going to end well. Now let us look at the indices. And US oil. As predicted, it's coming down. See, it's coming down. I'm very happy about this. It's already touched 88.00 as I expected. So if it comes down further, I'll consider that a bonus. But from this point on, there could be a potential to bounce back up again. But looking at the MACD and the momentum, it doesn't seem so. And let us hope the China-Taiwan thing is going to cool off after a couple of days of military exercises, and then they go back again. And all is well. So with that said, I'm going into QQQ, and here we are. Hey Venkata, you stay in Hyderabad. Okay. Crispr, Beam, and Editas. Hey, good selection, man. I think you're doing well with Beam, and Crispr is also going to reward you, I believe. Crispr will do very well. Yeah. Hyderabad. Very interesting. Nice, nice. Thanks for joining, Venkata. And here we are in our QQQ. And if you see, my friends, I'm going to zoom out here, and let me show you this bear channel. As you see, this is the huge bear channel bounded by the red resistance and the green support. And we are exactly on the line of resistance. We have been struggling out here, my friends. We peaked up and we came back. So if we don't get a decision today, then there are two possibilities tomorrow. We may open above this diagonal line of resistance, which means that we are literally going to keep moving up. Or we may open below this, and then we'll have to struggle again with this particular diagonal line of support. And that's the risk factor at this point of time. And if you look at our momentum, it's very, very close to overbought. And that's another thing that worries me. That's close to overbought. And when we look at the tech sector, we can see all the big index movers like Apple, Microsoft, not Microsoft, but Apple, Google, and Amazon. They're all very close to the overbought state. So they are likely to move sideways and down. When that happens, they're going to influence the index. And that's the reason why I'm very worried about this diagonal line of support. And I want to make sure that we cross that before I make any longer term investments. So right now I'm keeping safe, because if it does fall, then its next line of support is the 9-day exponential moving average at 313.50. And then we have the 100-day at 312.56. So those are the two next stops that it has got. And potentially there could also be a minor stop out here. There could be a minor support out here, which can then become a bullish pennant, and we could bounce off the bullish pennant. So this is the most possible movement within this and then out. So that's what I'm looking for. But since we are on a expanding If you see, since we are on an increasing trend, I think this is a bullish pennant and it's going to go up. So I'm not looking at the other pennant that was formed below. I've left that out. This is my bull channel, and this is going to be my bullish pennant. So just for clarity, let me draw this bull channel also out here. So this is the bull channel that we have out here. So I think that's what my final thoughts are on QQQ. We just need to see that breakout, and that would mean that we had touched the bottom somewhere around 16th of June, and then we consolidated a little bit, and then we started our bull run. We need to get clear of this bear channel. That's all I'm looking for. What do you guys think? Do you think this will happen? Yes, non-farm payroll data will move it either way. If it comes bad, it's going to really move it. And that's, again, you're right, that's coming bang on target when we are exactly on the line of resistance in QQQ. Yeah. If the market likes the payroll data, then of course we'll start the bull run. I think I dare say that we might start the bull run, because when you look at all the other indices, they are not having this kind of a bear channel. If you look at S&P 500, right, we are clear past the bear channel and we are into the bull channel already. So we don't have problem here. In Russell Index also, we are out of the bear channel and now we are in a bull channel. In Dow Jones Industrial also, we are out of the bear channel and we are into the bull channel. The only one which is going to cause everything to go down is QQQ, NASDAQ. So we'll wait and see what happens out there. Let me quickly look at S&P 500. It's down minus 0.13. That's not looking good. Anyway, we are consolidating, I would say, because we are not fallen below yesterday's range. And we have resistance at 415.60, which has been perfectly respected for 2 consecutive days. We first need to break out over there. The MACD is looking good and the momentum is also above average. So I'm still optimistic that tomorrow we should get some cues from the payroll or some good news, and then we break above the QQQ, and then SPY will start moving beyond the 200-day exponential moving average. IWM is negative today, minus 0.15, very marginally negative. It won't take too much for it to go up from here. I think I would call it a wash, because minus 0.19% is nothing. MACD is bullish. Momentum is also pretty good. I can't write that off. Things should be better. I think they're all waiting for QQQ to break through and get into a bullish channel, and then they will move further. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down minus 0.30%. Again, it has formed a candlestick pattern which I don't like, but if I was to draw a pennant out here, I like the pennant because it will be a bullish pennant. So I got this here. Let me move it a little bit. So this is the upper part of the pennant and this is the lower part of the pennant. So if you look at this triangle out here, it's on an upward bull channel. So this is a bullish pennant, so it has to break out on the upper side. So I'll hold on hope for Dow Jones to break on the upper side. QQQ suffered the most, so it is leading the recovery. All of these guys will follow them. Dow Jones was the last to get into the bandwagon because it didn't go below 20. So it's going to be slower than the others. And you can see that it's down the most as compared to the others. So that's what we have here. And look at VIX. VIX has come down further today. I like that. And we need to go down below 21.20 and then I'll feel better. I'm already starting to do a little bit of swing trades and a little bit of day trades. I get the feeling that the market is conducive for that. But once it's below 20, we can be sure that things are looking good. Now, having said that, let me quickly check our chat window and see what's happening out there. Do you think IWM Russell precedes and pre-runs the S&P 500 like how Bitcoin pre-runs and precedes the... So you're asking whether Russell precedes and pre-runs S&P 500. I have not noticed that correlation, but I have noticed the correlation between QQQ and Dow Jones and everyone else. Dow Jones is the slower one. Let me do some study on that and give you a considered opinion on that. I'm searching for words. Let me do that. And then we look at XLY by XLP. Again, a green candle and moving upwards. So it's a risk on, which means many of our genomics shares would be in the green today. And US dollar index. US dollar index has come down. The UK interest rate hike has definitely helped. And if your US dollar index has come down not because of UK, then we'll definitely see overall jump in all shares. But we are not seeing jump in the indices. So I think it's a UK interest rate effect. So with that said, let us look at the index movers because the market has closed. And I'm going to technology established, and I would first start with Amazon. Amazon is looking great. It's up 2.19% and it's gone above the 200-day moving average. So Amazon is looking pretty strong. I don't see any weakness here except for MACD being overbought. Look for some amount of weakness here with 200-day exponential moving average as a support. Is going in the right direction. But the fact that it is overbought here, when you look at it in conjunction with QQQ and the diagonal line of resistance, this could be the weakness that holds us under the diagonal line of resistance because Amazon is an index mover. Let's look at Apple. Apple was forming a doji candle today, did not know what to do. I think this particular pattern is the beginning of some kind of a candlestick pattern. I can't recollect what it is, but I'll get back to you later on this. But we are still within yesterday's range and at the top end of the range, so I won't worry too much about this. Another reason for Apple doing that is because we were overbought. If you can see the RSI out here, we are overbought. MACD is still bullish, so I won't worry too much about it. We still are in a bullish channel and we still have support from the 9-day exponential moving average, which is sitting at 160.31. So all is good with Apple. But again, this is going to cause the weakness in QQQ when we look at it there. Look at Microsoft now. Microsoft is doing very well. It's a bit flat, but above average, and it has gained 0.42% today. It's a lot of tentativeness as we wait to cross the QQQ line of resistance. Look at Google. Google is doing well. It's marginally up today, and it's got pushed down by this line of resistance at 119.55. I should have marked these as resistance. I have not updated my chart in a while, so sorry about that. The 100-day exponential moving average is also combining to give a very, very strong resistance. Now, this is also going to work on QQQ because we are still struggling at the diagonal line of resistance. With that said, let's quickly look at crypto. Coinbase, I love to see this chart. Coinbase started very high but came down, but still gained 10%. Really amazed with that. Bitcoin is not doing that great, and it's the Bitcoin not doing great component that has brought down Coinbase. So if Bitcoin starts picking up, which I think it will, because it's on the bull channel out here, it will definitely pick up, and then Coinbase will move up further. I'm rooting for Coinbase. And now let's go on to look at our genomic shares. And let's see the commodities, just 1 minute. Wheat prices are going down, but still in a bullish channel. Any downward movement is appreciated. Copper is going up mildly. It's still on the bullish channel, so I'm happy with whatever copper is doing here. It's still consolidating sideways. And US oil, we already saw there. Now let's go on to genomics. And in genomics, I'm just going to sort this so that we have the biggest winner up there. PACB bet expectations. If you guys had seen my spreadsheet for PACB and what actually happened, PACB outperformed in equipment sales, and that's going to lead to outperformance in warranty support and consumables and everything. So I think PACB is becoming a good stock, and even Jesse is going to be very happy. He would be able to sell his calls and make money, and also potentially sell some of his shares for profit. Yeah, growth stocks should rally, Venkata. I hope so too. Yeah. Fundamentals across the globe, I am not sure, but India fundamentals is definitely much superior to rest of the world at this point of time. China fundamentals are weak. They are expected to grow only 1.5%, whereas India is expected to grow around 7% for GDP this year. And you have Britain already saying that they're going to get into a recession. Europe is also getting into a potentially stagflation kind of a situation because of the oil problems with Russia. And US is in a much better shape, and it's likely to bounce back first. I'm not following markets in Australia and New Zealand, but overall, I wouldn't say that everything is looking up, but there are pockets of green shoots that I can see. That's what I would say from my point of view, from what I observe. So that's what I got here. And much more macro this year. Macro instead of micro. I also think so. It's more of macro than micro. So let me go back into my analysis out here. So PACB is a great stock now. IMTX has done well. It's up 10.10%. And let me see if there is any news for IMTX. No news. So it's purely some kind of news that we don't know about, or some action. Somebody has bought into it. So I would take that any day. We are so overbought out here. We are so overbought. If you look at this, we have been overbought since 22nd of July, and it's keeping on going up. So there's a lot of optimism out here in IMTX. So IMATX is doing well, and it's on the bull channel again. I'm happy about it. It broke through the bullish Bennett and went up as predicted. Let's keep it going. Bluebird is up 8.53%, and its earnings was supposed to come today. It didn't. And I saw your text message, your comments there is nothing on the website indicating when the earning is going to come in. But I have my analysis. Let us see. When the earnings come out, we'll find out what's happening out there. So apart from Bluebird, let's look at Allogene. Allogene is up 8.08%, much needed push, and it has still been above the bull channel out here. And I can confidently say it's a bull channel because we are out of the diagonal line of resistance of the earlier bear channel. It's doing pretty well. MACD is also crossing over to the signal line. It's almost there, and momentum is also above average and picking up with plenty of runway to overbought. I'm happy with that. Invitae done very well today, 5.53% up, and its earning is coming up on 9th. I've still not been able to make a video on that. I'm working on CRISPR right now because whether I get something else or not, I want to have CRISPR Q2 earnings out there, so I'm prioritizing that. But the MACD looks good. It's bullish, and momentum is also picking up, but I need it to be above average. But we are moving in the right direction at this point of time. Our biggest resistance is going to be 2.15, because out there you have the resistance of the 20-day exponential moving average and 9-day exponential moving average converging. So it's a very strong resistance for Invitae to break through. If it does, it will be great. SQZ Biotech has gone back into the consolidation section. I'm going to convert this line of resistance into a support, and it's gained 15 cents today. And it's still looking pretty weak on the charts, even though MACD is bullish and momentum is above average. It needs to go a long way because a lot of exponential moving averages are stacked on top of it, and that's not a good look. Editas is up 2.46%, continuing to do well. Our support at 18.20 has been material, and we are very close to being overbought. And I think that's going to make sure that we move a bit sideways or a bit down, and again test 18.20 before we go up again. So we need to cool off a little bit and then move up when it comes to Editas. Now let's look at ARCG. It's up 1.85%, still staying within the bull channel. Plenty of momentum to go. So it's only got to be positive. Aftermarket also it's positive 0.28. IDNA also is going up. Genomics share sector. Shares, ETFs, it's going up, and MACD is also up, and momentum is also up. Overall, I'm happy with the progress out there. Next, let's look at Illumina. Illumina is still on a bull track, continuing to go up. It's just marginally above yesterday. It's up 0.98%. That is $2.18. Very happy about the way it's moving. And next one is Crispr Therapeutics. It's up 0.42%, and if you look at the chart here, it's become a bit messy, so I'm going to remove some of the trend lines out here. Let us get rid of those. I'm going to take away all these things which are in the past, and I'll just retain 3 or 4 lines. So earlier we were in this bull channel, and we broke down from that, and we went into the bear channel, which is this diagonal red line which is sloping down. In case you can't see it properly, I'm going to increase the thickness of it so that you can see it in your smaller device. And we pierced through that and came up again. So it's giving some kind of a support at this point of time. So I'm going to mark it green. And we are going to soon arrive at this junction where it's going to be the intersection between the previous bull line and the previous bear line. And at that point of time, the price will have to take a decision whether it's going to go up or down. This is also in line with where QQQ is at this point of time. So this decision is likely to be made tomorrow. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I think inherently CRISPR is a strong stock. It's on a bull channel out here. So I think the only way it will go is upwards. And it has got its earnings coming up on 10th of August. We'll see what happens when it does announce its earnings. Caribou Biosciences, this is doing very well. Their CAR-T treatment has done very well. There was a recent news article. Max Immunity, one of our subscribers who actively communicates with me, sent me the link for a video which shows interview with a patient who had relapsed leukemia, and he was treated with Caribou Biosciences CAR-T treatment, and in 28 days he got fully cured and he's still doing well. So they are observing him. So Caribou Biosciences is also a good company. It's on a bull track right now, and I think it will continue doing well. Fundamentally sound company. Next, let's look at Beam Therapeutics. Beam has been sliding down of late after making a steep rise, but it is kind of staying away from this diagonal line of support. So it's charting something slightly above. I'm happy with that. And as long as we're above this diagonal line of support, I'm happy. MACD is looking bearish right now, and momentum is beginning to fall a little bit. But still, because it is above average, I would be happy. I would be happy to say that there is still opportunity for the stock to continue going up. We'll wait and watch what happens in the next couple of days. Once the fate of QQQ is clear, I think Beam will also follow suit. The Verve is down minus 1.40%. And if you were to look at the chart for Verve, it's still on the bull track. Momentum is falling a little bit, but it's still above average. And MACD is absolutely bearish. It has got earnings coming out on 11th. This could also be earnings